Footballers' Lives.
Well, our guest today on Footballers' Lives hails from Argentina, a creative midfielder from a town called Reconquista. And yes, I did try to get the Trek Artista from Reconquista to become a thing back in the day without success. He began his career with Unión de Santa Fe and then played for Newell's Old Boys and Curicó Unido in Chile before pitching up in Australia with Adelaide United 10 years ago. He delighted us with the Reds, winning the Johnny Warren medal, but left after just the one season to go to China with Henan Zhanye. And then it was back to Australia in 2012 with first Melbourne Victory, then the Central Coast Mariners, and finally the Newcastle Jets. Since then, he's been in the USA to play for Jacksonville Armada, great name, back to Chile with Curicó Unido, to Indonesia with Persib Bandung and Bali United, and finally back to South Australia with Adelaide City, where he announced his retirement earlier this year. It is a big podcast welcome to Marcos Flores. How are you, Marcos?
Good, Simon. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
No, great to have you with us. Great to have you with us. Marcos, you come from the same area of Argentina as Gabriel Batistuta. It's a region that produced players such as Leopoldo Luque and Neri Pumpido, as well as Batistuta and yourself. So you must have fallen in love with the game of football at a very early age.
Yes, when I was really young, at 8 years old, I wanted to buy a Fiorentina jersey, even knowing I didn't even know, where Fiorentina come from. But this purple thing was in our brains. These little kids, in the town of 80,000 people. And obviously when I idolized him, because coming from the same hood, from the same environment, same development, to achieve what he has done in his career, he was a person to look up to.
You both moved to Australia to live.
Yes. Literally 90% of the foreigners that come here, man, we get in love with Australia. This is a fact.
Did you ever meet Batistuta? Have you ever met him?
Yes. Yeah. Well, me as a child, I just asked a photo, a signature, when he was in the petrol station once. And then his son became a good friend of my stepbrother back home, and now his son was asking a jersey, of mine. So it was quite crazy. Gabriel is really a quiet human being, and really humble, but it's just really private also. I never got a pleasure, to have a coffee or something like that, but it is a person. Reconquista is too small, guys. It's like, you know everyone in the town. It's impossible to don't know somebody.
So Marcos,
it's like Washington next to my town.
When you were growing up, I don't know if you were a supporter of Unión de Santa Fe, but that was your first team, the local side in that region, and you scored on your debut after coming off the bench in a Primera B game against Tiro Federal de Rosario. What do you remember of that?
It was the best day of my life. The best day of my life. That was the best day in my career. Right. I say it in Spanish for an interview in Argentina, reflecting on my career. They obviously, a lot of people said that my highlights in football, I'm probably the right. That was Adelaide United becoming the Johnny Warren medal medalist. And I can obviously, in terms of football and whatever, potentially can be right. But I was reflecting every single goal that I scored in my career, and Unión de Santa Fe, and that day was one of the few times that I kissed the jersey. So then I got really in love with Adelaide United back in the day, but I never kissed it. And I saw a lot of players going through that they kiss one jersey and then they kiss the other one, then they kiss the other one. Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Very true. And I actually didn't know, Craig, until I retired, because I was watching. I was thinking, wow, how crazy is that? I kissed my first 3 goals in the club, and I never ever kissed it again.
Yeah. I want to know.
And I was not thinking.
I want to know if any of you boys, Spider and Maury, did you ever kiss the badge of a club that you played for?
Yeah, of course I did.
Mate, I never did, but like I said, for me, the club that I had the best association with the amount of time was Rangers. But I used to laugh and wind the players up. We used to sign new players every other year. Mate, they've been there 2 minutes, they score a goal, they kiss the jersey, and as Marcos says, 6 months later, they're no longer at the club.
But I didn't have the opportunity, Maury, to score a goal to kiss the jersey.
How many jerseys did you kiss, Spider?
Only Sydney, Croatia. So.
But did you see, Simon, that 3 of us, we got to the club that makes you a player or gives you a chance, the club where you born.
Yeah.
In this club, Simon, in Argentina, I was not getting paid.
Well, that's all right. That's nothing different to the A-League at the moment.
Oh, dear. Marcos, let's bring this back on track. You had a spell with Newell's Old Boys in 2006 where you played alongside the likes of Oscar Cardozo and Justo Villa, 2 Paraguayan internationals. And then went off to Chile in 2009. And as we mentioned, you came to Australia a year later. How did the link with Australia, the A-League, Adelaide United come about?
Because the DVD flew from South America to Australia to the Asian that was really new in the game. And he thought, okay, I'm going to send this DVD to the 10 clubs in Australia. And he started with Adelaide United because he started with an A.
That's not bad.
That is how my DVD, because that was not a moment on YouTube. It was a DVD flying from South America to the hands of Jose Martinez, which is he used to write a newspaper in Spanish in Sydney, and whatever. So this man introduced to Adelaide United office, but he sent to the mail like that. So the secretary checked that DVD, said to Michael Petrillo, Aurelio Vidmar, hey, we got 1 DVD, okay, just put it there. And they saw it. Carl Beard flew to Chile to see me train.
And it all started
and that's
from
how
there.
we end up. I end up coming to Australia, which was at 24 years of age. It was a big mistake to my career. But that mistake, like I said in other interviews, was the best mistake that I ever made.
And you're still here 10 years later. You had that one season, as you said, with Adelaide United, 10-11, where everything you touched seemed to turn to gold and to goals. Yeah. You won the Johnny Warren medal. You scored a hat-trick against North Queensland Fury. You scored that goal that everybody remembers. It was just a season that seemed everything clicked for you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I was surrounded by the best teammates that I could have. I could never ever ask nothing better than Travis Dodd and Matthew Leckie asking me the balls in behind. Everything was perfect to make me to show my strength. I was played in the perfect position in the middle of the field. Every single player, when they saw me with the ball, they were running forward. The 2 midfielders, they were winning the ball and just passing forward. And we got a number 9, Sergio Van Dijk, that was holding everything, that gave me time for a slow player like me to get inside of the box.
But Marcos, very, very smart player, a very intelligent player. Your experience in Australia, you travelled all over the world. in terms of your football journey. But how did you find the level in Australia? How did that compare to a lot of places that you've been to?
I think Australia. I think, Craig, that A-League, A-League technically and physically is really demanding. Mm-hmm. Is really demanding. Now it becomes more technical. Before was more, about rushing and everyone tackling and everyone fighting, but was quite, the teams were really stretched. Everything was really open and was, counter-attack football for both sides. And that was the year that Brisbane made that click to start changing the possession football. But then comparing with China, comparing with Indonesia, comparing with, I don't know, second division in Chile, football in Australia, I embrace what the standards are in Australia, that we can evolve, yeah, for sure. And what I think that it's not a technical, it's not a tactical things that we're missing. It's just the spirit of the game that is not quite there. That things that make us all the fans to be in love.
Are you thinking that's more like the culture, Marcos? So again, the environment that you were brought up in, a lot of South Americans are brought up in is football is everything. You speak about Batistuta, Fiorentina, purple was in your head without knowing where Fiorentina was.
Yeah.
We still lack this culture, which is maybe something that you're touching on there.
Yes, but you know what, Craig? I want us as a football fans and football family, yeah, where my background might be South American and your background, Spider, might be Croatian. Now, it got so empty, in my opinion, in terms of the spirit, because apparently to be extremely South American is a problem here. And to be extremely Croatian or extremely, it got some kind of restrictions that doesn't allow us to express ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's pretty well put, yeah. You're probably right there. It's probably because we're so multicultural and everything has to be the Australian way. And I do agree with you, because I think we could have had a lot more South American players come to Australia and be very successful, because the quality and skill to be a South American player, we know that a lot of South American players don't like to run. We know that. Yeah. But we know that that's normal. And we touched on it before about James, now that's at Everton. I mean, the same type of player that said around the world that he can't play because he doesn't run enough. But if you find the right manager that wants to set up his team around that quality player, you can be very successful.
Yeah. And also, why not to see in A-League a club, that with the background of Croatia, with 10,000, why not?
Yeah, we've sort of gone past our cultures a little bit, and we need to bring it back a little bit.
Maybe that's going to happen with the second division.
It will.
Just want to bring us back to your playing career a little bit. You left Adelaide United sort of quite quickly and went off to China with Henan Zhenya. Why did that eventuate? Because at the time, I remember a lot of Adelaide United fans being very, very unhappy that you'd left the club so quickly.
Yeah, but I was 24 years old, Simon.
Yeah.
So you wanted to go.
But how many foreigners back in that day were 24 years old?
That's true.
No, there was always the older player that would come to Australia, Marcos. Not at this age, yeah. So you were very young.
Not at this age. I was really underage to actually stuck to the club for 10 years, and Adelaide United was not in the position to make me a player to stay in the country. Why? Because they were more worried they were more kind to sell me than just to keep me.
Yeah.
And in the newspaper was the fans. Yeah, we want Marcos to stay forever. I wanted to stay forever. You know why, Simon, I wanted to stay forever? Because I was the best player in the league in that moment.
Yeah.
I was loving every single second with these guys. But Craig, that season before I moved to China, Travis left. Matthew Leckie left.
Yeah.
Matt Hughes left. Paul Reed left. Conway left. So it was 7 players gone. You know what Rini Cullen said to me? Oh, we're going to change the entire culture of the team. Oh, great. See you later. I'm gone. And you know what, Simon? I was right, because Adelaide United finished second last the following season.
They did indeed. We've got a Twitter question here, Marcos. You came back, of course, after a short spell in China with Henan Zhenya to sign for Melbourne Victory. And this question is from Max Conley. Why did things not really click with him and Ange Postecoglou when at the Victory? Because on paper it seemed to be a perfect fit, but this is Max's view, you didn't look comfortable in that system. Is that a fair question?
I was a false 9.
Which is not your position.
I remember I met Thomas Broich in one award, and he said, "Is that Ange trying the false 9 thing?" And I said, "Yes." "Do you like it?" I said, "No." "Oh, I didn't like me either. He couldn't do it immediately." I was unlucky.
Yeah. All right. Just to round off your playing career, obviously you went to the.
But let Simon, before we go forward, I wanted to say.
Okay, go.
Ange can be, in my opinion, the best coach in terms of tactics, teaching. The fact that I didn't fit in that system is just a football-wise.
Yes.
I'm not saying that I didn't shy or I'm finding excuses. No, because I'm happy. I played 95% of the games. I scored a goal of the year. I did what I could, but it was not my position.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
But big respect for Ange, Simon, yeah? Big respect in football knowledge.
Of course. Let's round off your playing career. You went to the Mariners and the Jets, as we said, and then the USA, and then Chile, and then on to Indonesia, first with Persib Bandung, along with, I think, Sergio Van Dijk and Diogo Ferreira. And then you had a good season with Bali United in 2017. You scored 8 goals in 26 games, got very close to winning the Indonesian Championship, losing out on a head-to-head against Bayangkara. A Twitter question from Ben Archer. What was it like playing for Bali United? We've heard stories of violent fans and fixed matches over there. Is that an accurate description, or is that just fantasy?
Yeah, it is a challenge.
Yeah.
It is a challenge, but tough people can get through and make money through Southeast Asia. But if you're not tough here, you can't survive more than one month, 2 months. And that's it, because it's you. The standards of A-League are so good, guys, that once that you move, doesn't matter if the level increase in football-wise, like going, I don't know, second division in Greece or second division in Italy, you start missing the things, It's normal to miss the flights, the flight from Sydney to Melbourne. You start missing that every 15 you got your paycheck in your account. You don't need to even look at it. So when you go to different football, you need to embrace the challenge, and that's what I did in Indonesia. I loved the challenge, but I also know what the things got wrong there, that Jesus Christ, when you go and play away, you play against 12, not against 11. And if you cross half of the field, you have an unbelievable game. I remember that I was quite of the foreigners and the leaders of the team, to the point the captain said to me, "You, Marcos, speak to the team." So I have to go to learn a little bit Indonesian to start, being accelerating the process. And I remember, Craig, that you're gonna laugh. I said to the guys, "Let's get a point, just 1 point away. If we drew 5 times away, and we win every single game at home, that is guaranteed we're going to do that, we're going to win the championship. And we went with that mentality that we're going to lose underdog, that we were able to win few games on the road. I think we won 4 and we nearly won the championship.
Wow. Yeah.
But it took teamwork. It took to overlook the showers, overlook the meals after the game. I overlooked the fact that we didn't have cars, only motorcycles, you know. But, you know, you go through, and if you love the game and you want your career and you want to be successful, that is the things that you need to go through.
But that's a great experience, Marcos. That football experience, different cultures, obviously a lot of different things happen. And for a lot of Australian players that are still looking to travel and maybe not of the level to go to the big 5 in Europe, which is the case now, that mental side that you touch on, it's just so important, isn't it, really? Because you get thrown so many challenges.
Well, I'm going to mention one good friend here, Austin Ayubi. He's an 18 years old playmaker. He reminds me a lot about myself when I was growing up, you know, with that little flavor that you didn't know where he was going to be, but not perfect. I was not a perfect player. I was not a European. I was just like, try to make a through ball. And he reminds me a lot of that. And he called me and he said, Marcos, can we have a coffee? I said, yeah, Austin, what happened? I said, I'm going to leave MPL. I don't want to sit on the bench on MPL. I'm going to go and get a contract in the 2nd division in Cyprus. Okay. He said, he asked me, what do you think? And I said, I think it's all right. If you think there is an opportunity, yeah, it's going to be 1st division. It's going to be professional. Yes. Okay. Just go for it. But let's have a coffee. I'm going to explain you what you're going to go through.
Yes.
In the 1st month, you're going to miss your girlfriend. The 2nd month, you're going to visit a PlayStation with your brother. The 3rd month, you're going to miss your mom's birthday. But let me tell you something, buddy. If you get through, you're going to pay bills playing sport. When you have this doubt, call me. I'm going to tell you what I've been through in China, what I've been through in Australia the 1st month that I arrived. Yeah, because Adelaide is beautiful, mate, but I couldn't speak English, so I was outside the Subway to buy a sandwich, and I couldn't say tomato, I couldn't say lettuce, so I just went there and I said, hey, this. Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing in Greece now. Don't worry.
and you know what? The first 7 days, Craig, I didn't eat anything because when the girl was telling me which Italian bread or whatever, no problem, and just left. Yeah, and I tried to buy a sandwich in the service station, you know?
Marcos, let me tell you, it's good that you couldn't eat. It was good for your skin folds because I know you South Americans aren't very good with your skin folds.
He's good with the mata today. Marcos, that sort of brings us full circle. You as we say, announced your retirement last year. Before that, though, I want to sort of talk about what that's led you into, because you had a bit of a personal epiphany about what you wanted to do with your life around about the time of the World Cup in Russia, and your father passed away. But can you just tell us a little bit about that?
When I finished that season with Bali United, the president wanted to extend me, and he even gave me a role. I said, if you stay one more year, you're gonna be the next coach. And I said, no, thank you very much. It's all right. I feel something that was not right. And when I said to, guys, you play the sport, you don't reject a contract when you don't have anything in hands. Is that correct? But that year, I did it, Simon. I didn't know for what, but I came back. I was tired because I put a lot of energy. So when I went back home, my father passed away from a heart attack from one day to another. Pop, disappeared. So that really makes me upset because I was traveling for 10 years thinking one day I will stop and I will enjoy with my father every single day. And I didn't have a time, I didn't have that chance. So I fixed all the belongings from my father, and my wife Russian. She said, "Let's go to Moscow and let's do the rehab there," emotionally. And I went to Moscow, but I couldn't train at 30 years old, 31. I couldn't find that motivation to train. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna quit football. I'm gonna quit professional football because I don't want to do the precision. I don't want to do nothing. So I decided, Craig and guys, to actually start teaching soccer in the street to random people.
Beautiful.
And I went so mental on this that I ended up from Russia. I went out to Greece, Heraklion, from Heraklion to Palestine, to Israel, to Egypt, to Kenya, to Tanzania, to Madagascar, to South Africa. Just teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching different, in with my body language, until I received a call from LA City that they wanted to donate soccer boots. Mm-hmm. And I said to the LA City boys, I said, look, guys, it's really kind and lovely from you, but I'm helping kids in the street. How can I track them? Let me come back to Argentina and I will give you, I will give you some address to send few things. Thank you very much. And they told me, what about playing, Marcos? And I said, no, man. And he said, what about engaging the community in Adelaide? Okay. Yeah, I like that. So that's how I came and I joined Adelaide City for a year. And that opens a spectrum in my brain and a conflict, of how to approach the youth development in Australia. How to make the fees affordable. How to help the kids to really evolve and not just paying fees and turning 2 times per week in a club with no purpose. So I got into this mode and I'm refusing to be just an academy. I'm not this. I'm a person that you can meet me every Tuesday in the park. Every Tuesday. I'm not having term 1, term 2, term 3. Every Tuesday. Every Thursday.
But that's a great story, Marcos. I mean, because it's a way of giving back to something that you love very much. It's about giving opportunity to everybody. We keep talking about football in Australia, how we believe it's not inclusive to all, down to the money that you touched on. So, mate, amazing that you're doing that. That's a fantastic thing, and I'm sure as you're speaking, we can hear your passion. It's obviously bringing you a lot of joy as well.
Craig, I loved it, and the things that I'm talking to the youth development coaches that we discuss things when we get together is that we need to learn as the coaches that we got at least 7 or 8 different approach if we want to include everyone to play the game. Because if we just only go with one recipe, with one approach, we filter in a lot of kids.
Yeah.
But now, since I came back to Australia, I started to coach under 10s, kids that won't have the fundamentals in place and kids that they don't have it. So the 2 trainings are different.
Yeah.
Same age, but 2 different trainings. Is that correct?
Of course.
Yeah, you have to.
Now,
for everyone's got their different levels.
That is the point. So cerebral palsy kids, We established the cerebral palsy team, kids with a disability. Yeah. Great. Now, they receive a different approach. Now, these kids have proved me that the approach have to be different, but there is no limit. Because the kid, you know what the cerebral palsy players, which I'm really proud, and I send them a big kiss. You know what the cerebral players here in South Australia that we training one Saturday every 2 weeks for free, Craig, in the park. Yeah, we loving each other is perfect. Now, Craig, they got something that the professional players, some they got and some they don't. Yes. You know what it is? They know the limitations. They know the limitations, Spider. And because they know the limitations, they really always ready to receive the ball. Because they know the limitations, they don't try to shoot from halfway. They play tiki-taka, Craig. They complete the drill better than kids of 14 years old. That they think they know everything.
Yeah.
And we got it on video. So what I'm saying is, if we really honest and we really wanted to evolve players, we can do that. But we need to put a lot of passion, a lot of love to do that, and in the club that help us to deliver the full version of development.
Marcos, we could talk about this for hours on end. Unfortunately, our limitations are that we're running out of time.
Sorry.
It's fascinating stuff. I know you're making a documentary as well, so we're gonna watch out very closely for that. And we applaud the fantastic work you're doing with kids down in South Australia, and indeed that you have done right around the world. One final question for you. It's our Twitter question of the week. Make it a short answer if you can, because as I say, we're almost out of time. It's from Nicholas Apollo, who wins a $100 voucher for Outback Steakhouse. Thank you very much to our wonderful sponsors, along with Streamgate. And Nicholas asks, Marcos has been critical of A-League clubs and their lack of connection to their communities. Why, after 16 years, does he think they haven't done that? As brief
because
as
we
be, Marcos.
Because we become following the business, just only the business side, and clubs are family, are not business. It's a family that make business, you know, because the clubs is like that. Football moves money, but clubs are family. When you go to Rangers, you got the person who cleans the locker room is the same one who cleans for the last 100 years. That's how you roll. That's how you roll the club. And if the club doesn't know how to do that, and they don't treat the fans like friends, like brothers, and only people who actually pay $10 to watch a game, you're going to have less and less and less every day. In South America, 30% of the stadium doesn't pay to go to the stadium. 30%. That makes potentially 80,000 people to come for free. Is that happening here in Simon in A-League?
No.
Not enough of it. Not enough of it. It's definitely something we can do a lot better, Marcos. There's no doubt about that. And like you touched on the kids that you're working with, there needs to be more than one approach to anything.
100%.
Marcos, it's been an absolute pleasure hearing you talk about both your career and what you're currently up to. All we can say is thanks very much for spending some time with us on Shim Spider and so much more. Really appreciate it, mate.
Much love and respect to all of you, and thanks for everything what you do for the game in Australia. Like you say, Craig, nothing is wrong. We have to evolve what we have on the table. Let's embrace the A-League and help it to evolve, to make an evolution. Absolutely. We don't need to change anything. We're going forward. Slowly, but we're going forward.
Brilliant. Great pleasure to have
Thanks,
you on.
Marcos.
Fantastic.
Great stuff.
Much love. Respect, guys. Thank you very much.
That is us for another week. Thanks again to our sponsors, Streamgate and Outback Steakhouse. Another global edition of the podcast coming your way, same time, same place next week. Until then, bye for now.